Governor Kathy Hochul.
Good morning. Good morning. Please be seated, and what an extraordinary day for the people of the state of New York, because we know how important the New York State Police are to protecting the security of our people. And as the governor of the state, I am so proud of this institution, this organization, steeped in history, a long legacy of service and protecting the people of this great state. So I'm grateful to all of you. In my opinion, you are the unsung heroes. You are the backbone of our efforts to make sure that people wake up every single day without the worry that something could happen to them or their families or their businesses. So I come here with a heart full of gratitude to all of you and the men and women that you represent. And today is going to be a great day as we talk about the 6,500 people of this institution, this organization, and how we can help them with new leadership as well. So today we're here to renew our commitment to the people of this great state and the vital work that you do every single day. And now we have an opportunity, an extraordinary privilege of mine, is to appoint a new superintendent of the New York State Police. And this will be our opportunity to lead a new generation, to talk about how public service means so much, and those who are willing to put on a uniform and to go into harm's way every single day, not knowing what could be behind a door, what happens when they pull over someone on a dark highway. They go in there fearless, and I am in awe of that. And I want everyone to know that I was very intentional in selecting a leader who understood, starting out from the very beginning, what it was like to be in the shoes of our state police. Someone who rose to the ranks, someone who's led with integrity and dignity. And I want to be introducing that individual in one moment. But I want to acknowledge Major Dennis Shager, the troop commander of the State Police Troop G. I want to thank him for all his extraordinary work. There's someone who I'll recognize as well. I guess I might tip everything off. Dawn James, Stephen James, his wife. Michelle Tate, his sister, has joined us. Charles Murphy, the president of the Police Benevolent Association of the State Troopers. Thank you for what you do. Tim Diamond, the president of the New York State Investigators, has joined us. Marcus Waltauer is the president of the Guardians. Thank you for what you do. And also a number of individuals who are the Troy Police Chief is here, Daniel DeWolf, Eric Clifford, the Schenectady Police Chief, and all the members of the executive team. You know, since last year of October, this institution, this organization has been led by a strong leader, a state police officer through and through. I want to thank Acting Superintendent Dominic Cimento for all he has done. I want to give him a round of applause for stepping in at a time when there's a lot of uncertainty and a void to fill. And I immediately became to rely on him for his judgment and the crises that he had to deal with. Saw him at many, many events, whether it's the snowstorms or trying to deal with a young person kidnapped not far from here, all the issues that had to come up that are always expected. But I knew that I had an individual who was experienced, who is committed to this organization. I want to give a round of applause to our acting superintendent for more than 30 years in the state police. Please stand up and take a bow. And the state police mission has changed so much. It's changed so much. We're trying to be more inclusive, bring in more female troopers. I thank you for your leadership in this well. Diversify our ranks so our forces represent the entirety of the state, but also to go into fighting crimes more intentionally than we've ever had it before. Hate crimes, for example, that you are the vanguard. You are the ones who are the first responders when someone complains that there's been something that happened to them personally or an institution, a religious institution that we have to protect. And we also have worked on something so intensely together, and that is fighting the scourge of gun violence and facing down more criminals than ever before, coming up to that iron pipeline all the way from the I-95 corridor. We talked about this my first days in office. We saw the explosion of gun violence in our streets. We have more criminal networks connected by the internet more than ever before, and the threats are more complex. So it's truly critical that we have leaders who are experienced and ready to meet these challenges. And I found that individual. And I'm so proud today to name the new superintendent of New York State Police, Stephen James. Please stand up. A lifelong New Yorker, a member of law enforcement, there's very few who have the experience that Stephen brings to this. Started as a trooper back in 1987. There are people in this room who were not even born back in '87. And I'm really proud of the fact that he stayed with us his entire career, dedicated. He was still a student at SUNY Albany when he joined the force. Undercover narcotics officer, investigator, rising up to lead Troop G, and eventually becoming a deputy superintendent. And I can count on just a few hands of the people who are in this room who have that depth of experience and knowledge of the state police. So he knows what it takes to succeed. He knows how to motivate people. He knows how to get the very best out of his teammates. And his priority is exactly the same as mine. That is doing everything we can in our power to keep New Yorkers safe. And we focus on my priorities, there's no better place to look than our budget, when I put my money where my mouth is. And I've done this intentionally for now my third budget, to say that we need more support for law enforcement in this organization and throughout the state, because that is the foundation for keeping New Yorkers safe and free from crime. So I introduced my budget just a couple weeks ago. It gives the state police more resources than ever before to get the job done. And we've already seen such incredible results. When I took office back in 2021, we're still in the throes of COVID. We haven't even heard of Omicron yet. And we're dealing with the destabilizing effect of the pandemic. Part of it was people weren't getting mental health care they needed. They were left floundering on their own. They felt the strain of economic insecurity, and many turned to violence and crime in numbers that we've never seen before. And the numbers were sky high. People literally woke up afraid, not sure they could venture out in their communities. I knew this had to change right away, and I knew where I could go. My built-in police force, because I knew I had people that were committed to the mission. And so we had so many challenges. People were afraid of gunshots. People were afraid that they'd go out to their vehicle, their catalytic converter was ripped out and sold at a chop shop. So we pursued a multifaceted approach. I empowered the state police to do what they do best, to find meaningful, impactful solutions. I rely on that. I don't sit in the Capitol and come up with ways that you should do your jobs. I rely on you from the experience that you bring to us and your leaders bring to us. One thing I need to do is increase the funding, because we could not expect you to do more with less resources. And so I said, yes, we must meet that need and expand your role in crime fighting with the money and resources you need to have. So because we've been on so many task forces, we're able to help catch a long-time fugitive on Long Island, the Gilgo Beach murderer and serial murderer. And that brought peace and comfort to thousands of people who live in the community and comfort to families who are seeking justice. Charlotte Senna, little girl kidnapped not far from here. We were so focused on this. And when I got the state police involved and brought them up there in ranks beyond what was already on the ground, people doing their best, but we needed to bring in reinforcements, the tide turned. We could use our crime intelligence centers and work with the FBI and put together the pieces and reunite that family within 48 hours. It was extraordinary. It was extraordinary. I called them to see how she's doing not that long ago. These are the people we're fighting for, and you know this. You know this. And the counterterrorism teams that are operating all across our state, social media. Many of you are in the academy. I don't know if you had to learn about how social media could foster such hatred and inspire people and radicalize people to do things that they never would have known how to do or been inspired to do. And I think about how we can use our technologies right here. I want to make sure that we have more resources than the bad guys do. And how we responded after the shooting in Buffalo in May of 2022. I went right back to the state police. I said, never again, we have to be on top of this. That young man, 18 years old, learned how to do everything he did on social media. He posted some signs. I said, we're gonna go back and we're gonna beef up our operations here and make sure you have the resources and the bodies to do this monitoring. I feel really good about where we've come in that time. You delivered the results I asked for, and I'm extraordinarily proud of that. And again, I mentioned the anti-gun unit. We teamed up with not just local law enforcement across the state. We have other states that are part of this consortium. I've been to the meetings many times, and they come in from Maryland and Maine and Massachusetts and Pennsylvania and all of our neighbors, and they're working together with us, because when one state police officer sees something, knows something, that knowledge should not stop at the border, because we're still tracking the same criminals. Long time overdue, it's happening, and we're having a real effect. And so I want to thank everyone who's been involved in that. Coordinating with our local prosecutors as well. This strategic approach is working. You know, when you think about the number of illegal guns we've seized, it's up 160% since we started this concerted effort. Make sure all your members know that. Let them know the statistics that I read every single week. Their work is making a difference. And I'm really, really proud of that. The extreme risk orders of protection. Again, another change we made in the aftermath of that shooting in Buffalo. I knew we had the capability, but people weren't always sure how it should work. We went from 95 incidences where we were able to get the guns out of people who telegraphed already, either on social media or to a friend or in a school, workplace, that they were willing to do harm to themselves or another individual. 95 in 2021, 1,300 just this past year. That's up over 1,200%. That's just what the state police did. Statewide, because we said we want everyone to understand this power they have, we have over 14,000 cases. I'm grateful for that. That doesn't happen on its own. It happens because men and women understand the power they have to protect society, and that's what you do every single day. We've had over 1,600 guns removed. And outside of New York City, we have 25 up from 9 crime stabilization units embedded all over the state. I've been to Rochester. I've convened meetings with our local state police, our local police officers, our district attorney, chief of police, the sheriff. I sit down with everybody and say, what do you need from us? Well, can we have more boots on the ground? Can you get license plates readers to us? Can you help us with drone technology? I said, yes, 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 we'll do it all. And crime is starting to go down. We're seeing real results. And murders are down 36%. I'm sorry, shootings down 36%, murders down 30% outside the city. We're back to the pre-pandemic lows of 2017 when no one even talked about there being a crime problem. If you ask people their top issues back in 2017, I'm not sure crime was in the top 3, 4, 5. We're back to those numbers when it comes to the most egregious of crimes, murders and shootings. And among the populous states in our nation, over 10 million people, we have the lowest homicide rate. The lowest homicide rate. So this perception that it's the Wild West here and things are out of control, it's not that way because of all of you and this organization, the coordination with local law enforcement. We also have the 4th lowest firearm mortality rate in the entire nation. So I share this with you. You may or may not know this, but I want your members to know this. I want them to wake up every day and know they're making a difference. I want that inspiration to be out there and know that they have a governor who sees it and a state that sees it. But it would not be happening without people who truly believe in this. Even something like car thefts. Why are crimes going up when you add up the total number of crimes? People are stealing cars. And we realized there was a TikTok challenge. I'm sure you're all on TikTok every day, right? No, me neither. TikTok challenge where kids were inspired to steal as many cars as they could, but particularly the Hyundais and the Kias, because there was a glitch in the older vehicles where it took nothing to start the ignition. I saw how it happened. I went to an impoundment lot in Rochester and said, show me how this is done. And it was so simple. So we had a strategy, work with our state police, work with our partners. And as a result of our intentional efforts, a strategy just launched in September. Car thefts have dropped 50% in Rochester, 45% in Buffalo, and they were the 2 hot spots in the nation. So we're making a difference. But we can't grow complacent. It's about continuing to bring people together, share our knowledge, use our crime analysis centers, which are now all over the state. Use that to connect the dots. Because I'd always rather be in the business of preventing crimes than solving, but we do have to solve them when they do occur. And I'll tell you, I'll always make sure you have the resources you need. That is my commitment. Acting Superintendent, I will commit that. You tell us what you need. You tell us what you need to be successful. Those who say defund the police, I say fund them to the extent that they need to do their jobs, and we'll be a safer and a grateful society as a result. And we've increased the operational budget by 22%, from under $900 million to over $1.1 million in this budget. That's real money. That's real money to support you. Continuing our cybercrime investigations as well. But also, you need more people. I saw this. I'm asking people to do so much more. Interdict the guns at the border, people coming in from gun shows up Route 81 from Pennsylvania, get them, but also see what's happening on social media and go investigate this hate crime. And by the way, can you be on the streets of Rochester and help them patrol? I've asked this organization to do so much, more than ever before. And I won't ask that without giving you the bodies you need. So we've increased our head count from 5,700 in 2022, proposing 6,500, a 13% increase. But also, we had a dub. I said, why aren't we getting more people through? What's taking so long? I'm so impatient. Well, we have 2 academies a year. I know this because I spoke at every single graduation since I was lieutenant governor. I love the graduations. I love looking in the eyes of these young people and saying, yes, you've made the right decision. You worked hard, the separation with the academy for 6 months from your family. I used to hear the stories. Dwan's here. I used to talk to him at my detail and say, what is it like? How did it feel? And they said, you leave on a Friday night to go home and see your family. It felt like Christmas, and it felt like you're going back to school on a Sunday night, and he kind of didn't excited about it. But that's just human nature. But it creates a bond among people, and I've seen that. It's powerful. I said, 2 academies a year, we're not going to have enough people. We doubled it to 4. I was told we wouldn't have the space. I said, find the space. It's a big place. It's a big state. Use the state cap, whatever you need. Make it happen. So in 2 years, we've made these investments. We're going to continue making investments, and we're going to continue these record levels of funding. I will do anything I can to make sure you're successful. And the latest crime that people are talking about is retail theft. People are coming in. Organized crime units are getting people on the ground to sweep the shelves, leave in a stolen vehicle, right? And then sell it on the internet. We can shut that down. I know we can. So I said, I've a multifaceted approach. Let's start with $25 million for state police to get the bodies you need, the training you need, go out there and share these best practices with all these communities that are under siege right now. That's how we stabilize our communities, because right now it feels like things are out of control, at least in some of them. So these are what we can do for the people of New York. And I know that I've selected a leader who sees this, who sees the possibilities of how we can work together and be creative and say, yes, there is an answer to this. We don't have to say this is how it's always going to be, because if we did, that crime rate would keep going up right now instead of coming down in almost every category the way it is. It's an intentional decision to change outcomes, and have the coordination and the cooperation and the resources. And I know that Stephen James understands this. I know he's the person of the hour right now to lead at this time. And I'm a tough boss, I'm going to tell you right now, because I'm going to be saying, how are we doing with our numbers? What do the numbers look like on crime now? What are we looking at for retail theft? I'll give you a couple of days, okay? I promise, I'll give you a couple of days. But I'm very impatient because people's lives are on the line. Public safety's on the line. That sense of security that every single New Yorker is entitled to is on the line. And we will answer that call. We will rise to that occasion, because we always have. Because, my friends, this is the great state of New York. And I'm really proud and confident that you'll lead with the integrity, make sure the culture fits my values, our values, and make sure we have the accountability to safeguard the people of this state. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me once again in congratulating our new acting superintendent, Stephen James, and bring him up for his remarks.
Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you, Governor. It's good to be back. For those who are pleased that I'm back, you have my wife to thank for that. For those who are not pleased to have me back, you have my wife to thank for that. My partner in crime. I'm certainly humbled, Governor, by your confidence and trust in me to serve as the new leader of the New York State Police. For those of you who do not know, my name is Stephen Gregory James. It has always been my dream to lead the brave and talented men and women of the New York State Police on our mission to protect and serve all New Yorkers. For those of you who don't know, I am a legacy officer, in that my father was also a police officer. He served for 32 years in this very jurisdiction with where we sit, within Colony, on the Colony Police Department. He's taught me lessons that I carry with me today. Those are our responsibility to the community, meaning the meaning of hard work, and the impact that we will have on many people's lives. So when I was 21 years of age, knowing that and growing up and using my father as a primary example and model, I entered the State Police Academy. I was not going to tell you what year, but the governor already gave me up on that. I'm not quite 60 years old yet. But in serving throughout my 32-plus years, I served in every rank in the division. As all troopers basically do, I started as a trooper on the road, protecting the roads and the motorists. Then I went on to become sergeant, investigator, senior investigator, lieutenant, captain, major, staff inspector, and lieutenant colonel, and also deputy superintendent. And for those who've lost count, yes, those are 9 ranks, and I'm proud of them. After more than 32 years of service, I stepped away from the state police, essentially to spend more time with my family. We turned the page, bought property in Florida, and we were living our life. However, when this offer came from the governor for the position of superintendent, I couldn't refuse. And that's because of the governor. She understands that the troopers have an incredibly tough job to do, and I certainly know how tough that job is. Governor Hochul has shown time and time again that protecting New Yorkers is her top priority. And she's committed to giving us every tool needed to do our jobs and to keep the community safe. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, that's one heck of an enticement to become a state trooper. You give us the resources. You give us what we need in this time and day and age, I'm all in. She's made historic investments in the state police as a result of having more tools to fight crime, more than ever before. Certainly, troopers have helped to drive down the crime and stem the tide of illegal guns on the streets all over. And that's thanks to the governor's leadership. You should all know I truly believe in the state police, but we have much work to do. To the troopers, I commit to being a supportive force for the rank, for the men and women of the state police. Know that I will hold us all accountable for our actions, all of us. I'll commit to utilizing the skills, the abilities, and the experience of the various state police staff throughout this organization. And I won't simply just rely on those who I have a working history with. I'll further commit to elevate the state police as leaders in the arena of cutting-edge policing, serving as a national model agency of learning, teaching, and the implementation of technological advancements. Without a doubt, this is my crowning achievement. Serving as superintendent certainly will undoubtedly be one of the toughest jobs that I've had. This opportunity comes around once in a lifetime, and that's if you're lucky. I also believe it serves as a testament to the power that can be achieved through faith, family, friends, and determination. And this is how I'm able to stand before you today with the full knowledge of how fortunate I am and my family as well to have been provided with a rare opportunity to be the acting superintendent of the New York State Police. I want to thank my dear wife, Dawn, and my family for always, and I mean always, being there for me, being by my side. I express my sincere appreciation to each of you out there for believing in me. Because no, it's a true honor, know that. It's a true honor to be the steward of this incredible organization. So thank you again, Governor. Greatly appreciate it for your unwavering support. And on behalf of the men and women of the New York State Police. But I thank you for trusting me with the honor to lead them. So having said that now, let's go to work. Thank you.
Distinguished guests, thank you so much. That concludes our program.